Hello, my name is Roosevelt Davis of BHOinnovations.com. I just want to talk to you a few minutes, 10 minutes to the most. And this is about receiving debt to pay off other, to pay your debtors. And how you can use debt to create incomes for yourself and also become wealthy. Now, have I become wealthy? Totally no. Have I become asset driven? Yes. Because when you build assets with the debt, over time you can become wealthy. So, I do flyers to promote the business. I write books and curriculums. I build websites, books that helps people solve a problem, and so much more. But the reason why I'm here is I see that a lot of people use debt just to get out of debt. And that makes sense. You should pay back your debtors. And they should charge you interest with that. Back in the day, it was a woman who was facing critical situations. Her husband had died and left her stranded, not to pay her debts that her husband had occurred. And then what happened next, if they didn't pay back the debt, you would have to work as a slave. The children of the father had to work as slaves to pay back the debt. Can you imagine that in this time and age that your kids can become slaves because you got so much debt? So she spoke to the prophet Elijah. And you can read this in Kings 4, chapter 4, 1, 7. And she asked prophet Elijah, I cannot pay back my debts that my husband had occurred because he passed away. And Elijah mentioned to her, what do you have to sell? She said, in my cupboard, all I have is oil, barely oil. So he said, do you have any pots? Let's place the oil that you have in different pots and sell it to your neighbors. Sell it to your neighbors. She did that and incurred more money to buy more oil, to sell to pay off the debt that her husband had occurred. With this said, Elijah did not give her money. He told her, go borrow more oil. Go borrow more oil and then pay the debt of what you owe the person, the debtor, and pay them extra in interest. That occurs over and over again until she became a person of a business owner. She got to pay off her debt that her husband had occurred because he died all of a sudden. That's when assets come in play. Most of the time we got things in our house like gold, silver. We have art and collections. We have cars. We have scooters. We have things that we do not use, but we like seeing it. We like seeing those things. We like holding on to those things. We want to accumulate instead of trying to get out of debt. You have things that you can sell right now to get out of debt, to collect some money, the extra money to help you get out of debt. I want you to read Kings 4 through 1 to 7, facing debt. So if you're facing debt, you want to get out of debt. But getting out of debt could be a process of slow. So it's many men who have collected millions and sometimes billions of dollars worth of debt to get out of debt, such as Donald Trump. Donald Trump said he borrowed $1.7 million from his father. But actually, it was about $60 million from his father to become a billionaire. And he never paid taxes because the laws of the land allows you not to pay taxes when you are borrowing in such a housing or apartment or a corporation or buying an asset, a 1031 exchange to always up, up, up. And you could borrow from that asset when you, the business owner, improve the property. So that's one way of doing it, but there's many other things you could do. Like you may have books, courses, things that you can borrow from to increase your money asset. You might have skills, you might have knowledge that you can share. You might speak a different language. You might do more than one thing to increase your asset accumulation. So when you worry about debt, such as that, you need to think clearly how you can become an asset-driven person to get out of debt. It's biblical terminology that the Bible speaks about doing my Father's business. Doing my Father's business means you have to be thinking as a business owner, a business provider, a business accumulation of assets, a business knowledgeable, a person who's knowledgeable about business to increase the wealth to get out of debt. And it's a sin to continue on a person without repayment or interest of any kind. That's how you maintain. Now, when I see personally, most people who get out of debt in a year to 2 times, they get right back into debt because they're paying off the debt, but they're not buying assets to continue to pay off debts and continue to stay out of debt. And when that happens, it makes the person who borrowed lose money and become a lost leader of what they're trying to, once they try to begin to get out of debt. When you start figuring out different ways to get out of debt, like borrowing money to pay off the debt, borrowing money to buy the asset to offset the debt, borrowing money to increase other assets to pay off other debts, then you start rolling the money, and then the money start bringing income to you. And all debts will decline over time. But once you pay off the debt and you don't have no money whatsoever, you cutting up credit cards and cutting up things that you make you feel comfortable not spending because you're spending money on the wrong things, such as travel, vacation, partying, and so much more. Getting your hair done, get your clothes done, buying superficial things to make you feel good, when you can buy the superficial things when you include assets to pay off debt. So it's nothing wrong with borrowing and being in debt to a debt of once you realize how to accumulate assets to pay off debt. This is biblical sound, kingdom sound business. That's how the rich become richer. It's no other way. It's not Illuminati. It's nothing more than that. It's the way it is programmed. America is a corporation, y'all. You have to go by the guidelines of the corporation for it to spend for you in your favor. This is bhoinnovations.com. Go to our website. Please subscribe, like everything that we do, and become